Hello.
Hello.
It's good to see everyone again.
It's good to be back.
Hope that this time of the year is good for all of you as we begin the summer months. Getting a chance to sit back, relax a little bit, maybe decompress. And we've thought about you guys this morning.
Have a little fun, just have a little fun.
Have a little fun.
Okay, so what are some things that you thought growing up, maybe even as a teenager, that you found out just are not true? And it was kind of one of those, that's not actually true.
Well, for me, it was the church bulletin. Ours at Southern Hills was called the Pathfinder. I thought everybody had a Pathfinder. I thought wherever we went to church on Sunday morning, I'm like, hey, where's the little Pathfinder? And they would look at me like going, So it wasn't until later that I realized, much later, that I did not realize that every church didn't have a Pathfinder.
Well, they called it something different. Like you thought they were all called Pathfinders.
I thought all of them were called the Pathfinder. I thought that's what it was, to get the information about what was going on in the week and order worship and announcements and all that type of stuff.
You thought they were all called the
I
Pathfinders.
thought they were all called the Pathfinder.
Ours was called the Messenger at Marcelo's growing up. So when I was younger, I didn't know what a toaster oven was. I thought that you cooked toast in the actual oven. But also I thought that to make toast, you had to burn it and then scrape it off. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, burned every piece of toast. And so I grew up watching her scrape the bread over the trash can. So I thought that's how you prepare toast.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that you could actually
get brown a little bit.
I didn't know that you could actually prepare it to a certain color yourself. Okay, and then one more, the phrase "making ends meet."
Making ends meet.
It was reference to people who were struggling financially.
Right.
But growing up, I thought it was the actual ends of meat. I thought you were so poor you could only afford the ends of the meat.
Like so the whole meat, and you only can afford the ends.
No, like if this is the meat, you can only afford the two insides.
Oh no, baby.
Like not the good side. I thought that was making ends meet. So that you could only afford.
It's okay. It's okay. Pathfinder ends meet. Okay.
Ends meet, burning toast. But we were discussing this and realized that sometimes you bring some of these what seem silly preconceived notions into a marriage, and if you think that's what it is, you could really
absolutely
you could have trouble.
Absolutely. So, in marriage, we have to understand that something that may not be true that we brought from our past, we get a chance to learn each other. We get a chance to have the opportunity to figure out what's real in your marriage. It helps us grow to be the people that we are. And it may not be from our past. It's probably something that we brought. But in our marriage, we get a chance to be new. We get a chance to develop our own ideas or little quirks that may not be true for others.
And the thing is, if you have these preconceived ideas that just, in fact, are not true, but they're your truth, then you can bring that passion and that energy when your spouse doesn't understand what you're talking about. Like the Pathfinder. We were dating, so he was an adult when he found out that every church wasn't called a Pathfinder. But if you're not open to understanding that your truth may not be everyone else's truth, and no person has the absolute truth and knows everything. But when you're in a marriage, if you bring that with you, it can cause frustration. If you don't know how to communicate. If I'm saying, no, this is how you make toast. You overcook the toast and you scrape it over the trash can. And you're like, no, sweetheart, that's not how you make toast.
Put it in the toaster, let it brown evenly on both sides. Put a little butter on it. It'll be great.
But if you don't understand that person didn't grow up with the toaster and they only had, the actual oven, then you're like, oh, that's why you think that way.
That's why you think that way.
And so it's important to have conversations to peel back all the layers to understand why somebody thinks the way they do. And then after you giggle, not stand in judgment, but just say, no, there's a thing called a toaster. And, you all didn't have one. Hey, that's fine. But this is how you actually prepare toast.
Right.
And I think we have to do that sometimes in marriages, know why the person thinks the way they do, and let them share that in a judgment-free zone.
Absolutely.
So that they can grow from it. And now we have a toaster oven. So I do know how to make toast, y'all.
And I know it's not a Pathfinder. It's just a church bulletin.
It's just a church bulletin.
But in marriage, those preconceived ideas are only what they are. But you better yourselves through your communication. You get a better understanding with just talking, laughing, loving, and be able to continue to do this wonderful thing called marriage. And it starts with communication. and it continues to be great listening. But to know that with your helpmate, your spouse, your significant other, that together on the same team, communication is the key.
Communication is the key, and being open, a judgment-free
Judgment-free.
And understanding where people came from, and knowing that's what they bring. Mm-hmm. How old were you when you realized that Kool-Aid came in other colors?
We talking about that today?
I'm just saying.
It was red. I didn't know it was cherry.
Church.
I didn't know it was strawberry. I thought it was red.
At church, it was red. Then you're like, oh, they have other packets? So see.
Vacation Bible School, everything else.
It was red.
Kool-Aid was always red.
It was red. So, hey, let us know. What are some things that you brought to your marriage, or maybe not even your marriage, maybe your relationships with your friends, something that you thought was true that actually isn't true, and you were kind of embarrassed, but you realized, hey, that's what it was. We'd love to hear from you guys. Keep talking. Keep laughing.
Keep loving.
Keep loving. We'll see you soon.
Bye.